This is the Total Freedom Podcast, presenting #1 best-selling author Christopher Duncan, bringing you proven strategies to free your time, free your mind, and free your income, so that you can do more of what matters most. Learn more at ChristopherMDuncan.com.
Welcome to the Total Freedom Podcast. I have Alex Charfen back for round number 2 because the first session, I've had so much good feedback as I was just sharing offline with you. People have wrote in saying, I'm an entrepreneur personality type. I get the momentum thing. I get having goals. I'm with you on that and I want to quit. I've had people, say, I want to quit my job. I got to get started. I've never heard anyone share it like Alex did. And I have to feel the same way, man. I mean, you're so spot on in your group on Facebook, which everyone will be in the show notes because you all need to go and get in that group. And you're so on point, understanding the few of us, I think, that really think this way. So I appreciate a second round because I know you've been so busy with your talks about Robin Sharma. But just, do you want to fill us in, man? What have you been up to since we last kind of talked?
Absolutely, yeah. So Chris, I think you, as an entrepreneur, sometimes you get to a place where kind of everything accelerates, but you don't feel like you're in that that pressed, rushed, or anxiety type state, And I think that's where I am. I'm in this really intense new place where business is growing, the attention has gone through the roof, and the effect that we're having is the effect I want to have, and I think that kind of makes it very centering and calming. But man, there's been some exciting stuff. I got to speak with Tony Robbins and Peter Diamandis. Just recently I was up in Canada. I did, Robin Sharma it was his event. He invited me, and man, he had Dr. Jack Rouse and Greg Wells and Sally Hogshead and Christine Carlson, amazing speakers, Shaquille O'Neal, Ian Lapitan, and me. And to talk to Robin Sharma is kind of an awesome thing. The way that I opened that presentation, just to give you some insight, in I think it was July, Katie and I were in Arizona and we were in a meeting with Robin, and I told everyone in the room, I remember I was in this meeting, I spoke, I sat down, Robin Sharma passes me a note. What would you do if Robin Sharma passes you a note? The guy sold 10 million books. I took a picture of it. And then I'm like, oh shit, maybe I should pass a note back, right? Then we had a phone call, and Robin and I talked on a Saturday, and we just had this amazing call, and he asked me to speak. And it was funny, Chris, because by the end of the call, I had talked myself out of him saying, hey, will you speak? And I was kind of going wait a second, did he sell me a ticket? And I went out and I'm like, Katie said, hey, how'd your call go? And I said, it was great. I talked to Robin Sharma, and I'm either going to speak at the Titan Summit or I just committed to buy 2 tickets. But either way, it was a great call.
That's so funny, man. That's so funny. And I love that about you, man. I really do. I've been watching your videos, and I've been looking at what you're up to, and I love that you're doing great in business. And I look at it and I look up to you because I don't think my business is where yours is at. And I look at it and I go, that is awesome. I look at the impact, and then you get on this call, and the first thing that you show is you're still coachable, that you're still looking up to other people. And I love that because I feel as though that shows me how you've got to where you are and how you're going to go so much bigger. Because I see a lot of people who are nowhere near as big a business as yours or even mine, and they won't talk up or share who they are so inspired to go and learn from. So thank you for that, man.
Yeah, no, really. My pleasure. Chris, it's crazy because I go to these events, and I get to go because I'm speaking, and I watch so many speakers come in and out. And there's some events I don't stay for, like when it's just internet marketing or something that that's someone else on my team, right? But when it's Jack who speaks on nutrition and physiology in a way that just changes your life. Greg Wells has coached 3 Olympic teams. Sally Hogshead is like an institution in herself. She knows how to tell people how to find their magic, and she's amazing. And if you can't get excited about going to an event and learning from people like that, you're lost. Because for me too, and now at this stage of the game, for so many years, I went and I was a member of the audience. Now I'm a member of the team. And so I don't just get to go watch. I get to go meet and understand and learn from. Dude, I was there every day. I went through 100 pages of notes.
Yeah, you're a legend, man. And It's just great to have you here and good to see you do so many big things. And I appreciate the time as well, because, in business, our time always gets stretched. And I know last time we talked about pressure and noise a lot and getting rid of that. We also talked about what an entrepreneur personality type was, and you just put me through it, man.
Yeah.
And those who want to see me being coached, go check that out, because Alex just smothered me in, Chris, are you this? Are you that? And I loved it. I got off the call going, I love momentum. I love having goals. And from that moment, I went in my business. I went, I need a scorecard. And I love momentum. And, it was one of many conversations that I created somehow that allowed me to have some really massive success. And so I really wanted to have this follow-up and talk more to that entrepreneur personality type.
Absolutely.
So do you want to give us a quick rundown just so everyone can get back on that page?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'll give you like the 2.5 minute pitch, right? So our organization has discovered, and we've written the archetype. I'm holding it right here. We wrote this book. There's 500 in circulation. There will only ever be 500 in circulation. But we wrote this book about the entrepreneurial personality type. We have a framework that shows that we are different. And we believe, and I can prove, that we are a subpopulation that's been overlooked by science, that has been existent throughout history, has been present, and has been misunderstood. And we are physiologically sensitive, cognitively aware, and chemically reliant on momentum. And the world tells us things that show that they don't know who we are. Mm-hmm. Because when you tell someone who's reliant on momentum to sit down or to stop or to shut up or to stop asking questions, all you do is provide constraint so that they can't see. Uh-huh. And the fact is that, when I say we're different, I mean we are different. And reality is most of society's systems are structured in a way that it's not that they don't support us, it's that they damage us. Right. They harm us. Right. So entrepreneurs are the most important people throughout history. And human evolution has been caused actively and proactively, singularly, by entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. It's the only force other than nature that has caused the proactive evolution of people. So, when I look at the entrepreneurial personality type, we've been misunderstood for far too long, and society's systems break us. Kids in school feel incredible constraint. You get into the wrong cubicle and you can feel like you're dying. Right. The problem is we are so sensitive to constraint that it causes us physical problems, mm-hmm. It causes us cognitive problems, and we know it causes us chemical problems. And there's all kinds of symptoms that look like all kinds of labels, up to and including suicidal ideation and thought. And so sometimes when I talk about the EPT, people say, hey, you make it sound like it's us against them. I want to make it clear it's us against them.
It's literally like you read my life story when you talk about it. My business, obviously, and the podcast, Total Freedom, people just can't get their head around a lot of times why this is freaking freedom to me. Why 2 a.m. last night, I am up writing goals because I got challenged on my brand and my messaging and to go bigger. And people go, why? Go spend time with your family or go hang out. I tried that. And I love it, man. I just love it so much.
Here's what's interesting, Chris. Here's what I know drives someone to be up at 2:00 in the morning writing their goals. It's not self-fulfillment. It's not, I'm going to aggrandize myself. It's not driven by something within us, because here's the thing. We know that driven within us doesn't get us up at 2 a.m. Mm-hmm. I know that the reason you were up is you were writing about the contribution you intend to make, the change you intend to have, and the effect you intend to create. We are driven basally, foundationally, emotionally, everything spiritually by contribution.
That's the other thing. And I thought about this and I just remembered it, man, is there's a reason why, and this is just for me personally, there's a reason why multi-level marketing and direct selling never got me. And I tell you why. And here's why. It's because all they would say to me is, you're going to make this much passive income.
Yeah.
And I've never said this before in my life, but it literally physically, I was like, great, wow, I'm good at making money already. Yeah. Like it was like, it literally bounced off me because it wasn't what I wanted to share. And I remember about a year and a half ago making this conscious choice not to be involved or not to look at those things anymore because they just were. And same with other things like property and other places like shares. They've never got me. And
because it's different for everyone, right?
Right.
And here's what I'm hearing, right? So like the stuff that doesn't create an effect, doesn't create an outcome, that you don't see that greater need, it doesn't even get you excited, right?
No.
And Chris, here's the issue. Here's the challenge. When I say entrepreneurs are misunderstood, first, we're called all kinds of crap. Like, that your confusion has been mistaken for anger. And that for most of your life, like many entrepreneurs, you've been told you don't feel right. And here's what I mean by that. You've heard it like this, Chris, you shouldn't be so intense. More intense, right? Hey, Chris, be more intense. Right. Chris, and you tell me, how many times have you heard, why don't you share your feelings?
Oh, mate. I only have one feeling.
But the challenge is, right? We're constantly reinforced like, hey, you don't feel right. And the fact is that for us, the confusion is primarily and centrally around the way the rest of the world lives. We don't understand what motivates them because for us, momentum, moving forward, it's the only thing that matters. And that looks like going towards your greatest contribution.
Right.
So Chris, we have this way we coach people, right? And we call it the contribution equation. We think it's the meaning of life. And when I share it with people, I share it from this place. I've my teams and I, and I've read about 10,000, maybe more biographies and life stories of famous people, of successful, of significant people. And, when I get into theological conversations, they're often uncomfortable because I find that most people who want to have a theological conversation only know one theology. I've read all of them. And when you look at both, and then you look at current situations where people are succeeding in the world, Napoleon Hill said success leaves clues. It really does. And entrepreneurs throughout history have told us what they are. We just don't hear them. So there's a 4-step equation that we teach people like us because this is really how we get there. The first step is we lower pressure and noise. Mm-hmm. So Chris, you tell me, man, have you had the recognition for most of your life that you have more pressure and noise than those around you?
Recognition from myself or others?
Yeah, for yourself.
Dude, here we go again, guys. When I was 7 years old, I was waking up at 6 a.m. and shooting 1,000 shots before school because the only thing that mattered to me was making the NBA.
There you go. And so it's the same thing, right? And so for you, you had the drive, you have this motivation, and the fact is, when we lower pressure and noise in our lives, we increase awareness. Yeah. And we all know how to lower pressure and noise. So you tell me, what did you do? Here's what I did. When I was a kid, I isolated. I found places where I couldn't get beat up. I found places where people couldn't find me, and I figured out a way to game the system. What did you do to lower pressure and noise, Chris?
Well, I focused. And so for me, it was pure focus, in fact.
And movement, right?
Right.
Like your body had to get moving.
Right. I got kicked out of school because of this one thing. This is why I didn't end up finishing high school, is they said, you have to go to class. And I said, no, I have to get the grades. And look, I've got all the grades. No, you have to go to class. No, I have to get the grades. What do you mean I have to turn up to class? I've got the grades. Look, here they all are. Chris, those are B's. You should be getting A's. But everyone else is getting less than B's. I'm happy with that. I want to go play basketball. That's what I want to do.
I want to move.
Right. And so for me, it was like everything else. It was, let's do it in the shortest way possible, and let's do something else.
Let's game the system and
let's do it, man. Yeah. So here's what I want. Here's what I would love to know. Okay, is some people that are listening out there are the entrepreneur personality type, and they're hearing you on this equation. And so first off, we've got to get through the equation, because I really want to know how do they actively, because we've got a lot of business starters out there.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people going, you know what, this is me. I don't fit. All right.
Sure.
And so I'd love to get some real action steps within this.
You got it. So let's go through this. So the second step is this: you ask for protection and support. So here's what I want everyone to hear. Entrepreneurial personality types learn almost nothing standing still and very little alone. Mm-hmm. So build a team, join a team, and go fast.
Mm-hmm.
Because regardless of where you are in your life, building a team, joining a team, having contribution, working like this, like, you've recruited me to be your extended team. Well, right? You contacted me and said, hey, will you do this podcast? And I'm like, heck yeah, that's a lot of exposure and I love your style. Let's do this. So that's mutual protection and support.
Uh-huh.
And so you ask for protection and support. When you do that, your strengths and abilities will show. Watch. I'll prove to you that they just show up. So Chris, how much of what you learned in school are you learning or using on a day-to-day basis today?
After about age 11, I don't think very much at all.
Okay, so where did that stuff come from? See, we all have resident strengths and abilities.
Uh-huh.
We all have these powers within us that when we lower pressure and noise, we increase protection and support, they start showing.
Uh-huh.
We start looking magical. We start doing better. And here's why. The fourth step is so you can make your contribution.
Uh-huh.
And here's what drives every entrepreneur in the world, contribution. But we never state it out loud early in our careers. We never say, I just want to do this to make a difference. Instead, we go and chase all kinds of different things. And the fact is, the businesses that make a difference, that make a contribution, that change people's lives, like Apple and Facebook and Google, the ones that connect people, transform communities, are the most profitable and also make the greatest contribution.
Right.
And so the equation is simple. Lower pressure and noise, ask for an increased protection and support. Strengths and abilities will show and you can make your contribution. And Chris, I can absolutely share tactics. You guide me. Where do you think you want them?
Man, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start to try to guide you. I mean, for me, I look at those steps. I go, reduce pressure and noise. Beautiful. Done it. Protection and support. Awesome. And strengths. So like, I feel as though, again, you're doing this to me where you just are like mapping it out, because I went and built a team. And so we have staff. We've got 25 staff, and that's they give me protection and support. I've got a great business partner. I've got great things happening. Things are awesome. And then boom, as soon as that went, I've got this space, and suddenly out comes Chris. Didn't have to do all this other stuff. And I feel as though now with the YouTube, and that's why we're doing the podcast, is the contribution for me. You know, we want to help 10,000 people live total freedom, and that's what we're doing now. You know, and
that's real for you,
right? So that's why we're connected, brother. Like I keep hearing you and going, this guy's like just helping me understand what the hell's just happened the last decade.
Well, here's why, Chris. Chris, how old are you now?
28.
Okay. So this is an interesting interview because I think that, you know, when you were young, how much support did you get in your life? Your parents?
A lot,
right?
Yeah.
How often did your mom and or dad tell you could do anything you wanted?
It's dumb can, not dumb can't, Alex.
Right? So how often? All the time. All the time.
No can't. There's no T on the end of my name.
Right. So it was you can do anything, you can be anything, you can do anything you want.
Of course.
And you've achieved. Is that fair?
Yeah.
So here's what's interesting, Chris. There's this place where if you have recognition, life can change. Because for most of our lives as EPTs, we were running away from something. Mm-hmm. You know, you went to basketball because it was the alternative to what was in the present. Because if there was something more exciting in the present, you would have done that.
Uh-huh.
And most of our alternatives are based on where we go because we don't want to be here. And even those of us who build really successful businesses often do that, running away from our past. Mm-hmm. But there's this place where if you lower pressure and noise, you increase protection and support, you really get to that place where as an entrepreneurial personality type, you know who you are, mm-hmm. and you are transparent with the people around you, strengths and abilities show. And when I talk about contribution, it shifts. Mm-hmm. Because now it's not that early entrepreneurial contribution where you're saying, I'm going to build this business and help people. I'm going to build this business and help myself and move forward. And hopefully I'll make some money and do some other stuff and run away from my past. Mm-hmm. This new contribution where you choose where you want to go. Mm-hmm. And it's not running away. Mm-hmm. And here's what's so fascinating about it is that if you step into that place, it is exciting and precarious at the same time.
Right.
Because that thing that's been pushing us along throughout our careers, that fear, that drive, that what we are going from goes away. and we have to start generating that ourselves. And it is a privilege to be there, but it can also be kind of frightening, can it?
Right. And you've described it best in a great way, but it's when the way I describe it is the shift. It took me about 18 months when the fire of not having enough money was not there anymore.
Yeah.
And then the fire of not having recognition or not being able to, like, when that was gone, that fire that was burning me to keep going forward, it was like, whoa, now I'm here. What do I do? And I did this for 18 months. Like, until I was able to, in your words, find my bigger contribution. Go, this is who I'm going to serve. And I think I shared it on the last show. Those of you listening, go back and listen. But I was in Thailand. I made all this money and I was free. And I went, yay. Oh, and that's where this missions come from, of how, now I teach people how to explode a business online and create an outsourcing team so that they get the total freedom to do what matters to them. But everyone listening,
you're brilliant, man. I want to do this, and I don't think I've done this on a podcast, but I want to share with you why I think guys like you and I are driven like this. So check this out. When you were younger and you started going, you couldn't turn it off anymore, right? Right? It's just, can you turn it off now?
I just wrote, before you asked me that, I wrote, the one thing that I want to ask Alex is about obsession.
Yeah. So, so here's what's interesting, right? I just spoke with Tony Robbins, and Tony was on stage, and Joe Polish asked him, do you meditate? and Tony said, I don't know if I want to meditate. And I was blown away. Tony Robbins just said he doesn't want to meditate. And it's funny. Now I'm friends with a lot of the speakers who say oh, I meditate every day. I do this. You know what they do? They use their iPhones with headphones, and they have apps that they use. I thought they were like Zen masters. They're just as bad as you and I. Right. And the fact is that, we're driven in a way that's different from most. Mm-hmm. And so you tell me if this relates, Chris. Haven't you been on the hunt your whole life?
Of course.
Right? I mean, the word hunt relates, right? And when I say, you tell me, as soon as you reach that objective you're hunting, that thing that's over the horizon, as you cross through it, doesn't it lose significance?
Oh, absolutely. At
the same time.
It's as though, okay, that's done. Now what? Best-selling book was exciting until it was best-selling. And then it was beautiful. Now it's there, and that's great. And it's so funny. And I wrote this. I said this in a show recently, Alex. I said, it's as though I meet somebody like you, and I go, wow, they're doing better things than me, or they're ahead of me in the space that I'm now in, right? And it's not and I want every listeners to get that. That's not in a life space, because maybe I have something over here that's working, but in a certain space, there's people that have mastery ahead of you. And so I'll see someone, and this keeps happening to me, and I don't know if this happens to you, but I'll see someone, I'll connect with them, and then I'll go, boom, oh, hey. Yeah. And then we'll both be looking at the next person, and
because Chris, that's how it's meant to be.
Dude, I love it.
Let's line up the subpopulation, right? Remember how I said we're a subpopulation? So in every species, there's a subpopulation that hunts. And you look at ants, there's the ones that hunt. You look at animals, there's the ones that hunt. You tell me, doesn't it make sense that there's a subpopulation in human beings that is driven to get up in the morning and contribute to the tribe? Uh-huh. That is driven obsessively and compulsively to create an outcome like killing food so we can all stay alive. Uh-huh. And driven so much that as they mature and become wise, they want to turn around and give the wisdom back to everyone else so the tribe can keep going. Uh-huh. We're hunters. And evolutionarily, we have all the chemicals, all the buttons, all the triggers that hunters have. Mm-hmm. And the fact is that if you spend a career hunting in any tribe, maybe you should just be around hunters.
True. I mean, I've been called obsessive. I've been called crazy, driven. I've been called, selfish for just wanting to keep doing more and more and more.
Yeah.
And I think I want to share this with everyone out there. If me and Alex sound crazy right now, that's because we kind of are. And this is the thing that I really got to get across to everybody is I think the truth of the matter is that maybe you don't want to play at this level, and that's completely fine. You can learn how to create an income online. You can learn how to do that so that you can do what it is that you need to do. And the thing that I always share to people is I can show you how to get your business working online. You can explode, you can build your outsource team, and then do what you need to contribute into society. But if you're sitting there and you're hearing us, you need to go follow this man. You need to find out, get one of his 500 books, because the one thing that has helped me, and I'm in LA now. Last time we talked, I was in New Zealand, where I'm from.
Yeah,
so I made it here. And my business in the last week has done equivalent of what we did in the whole month before. And I have to say, it's because I'm here. And this is weird. And I don't know how much we've got time to go into this and how much you believe in this stuff, but it's as though I'm in the entrepreneurial soup, or there's just there, and I'm sitting down at Bulletproof Coffee this morning, and I went and got a massage, and I'm sitting there, I did my morning ritual, I did the Tibetan rites, and I'm feeling good. I'm still wearing the same top, and I'm there, and the guy next to me is talking about a 50 million exit, and I'm like, cool. And then there's someone else talking, and then I'm sitting there, and I just get online, I just drop a video, and then that video explodes. And so the thing I really wanted to touch on was hunters should be surrounded by hunters.
Yeah.
So how do people get in touch with you? I mean, I've got people mostly that are on the other side of the world. I know that you do a lot of in-person events. We didn't even get to talk about this that much last time, but where are they going to go, man? Because these people that are listening, they're either going to be going, those guys are crazy, and we love you, and that's fine. Or they're going to be, I'm part of that tribe.
Yeah,
what do they need to do, man?
So, Chris, we've got this Facebook group that we put up that's free, and there's a shortcut to it. It's We Are EPT, so WEARE EPT. And it's a free resource. I put a lot of videos there. There's incredible discussion there. And then you can go to charfen.com, which is my last name. It's CHARFEN.com. And we've got an opportunity right now. So in January, we are moving from the office I'm sitting in now to our first purpose-built 10,000 square foot office meeting space, kind of a mixed-use space that we have for our team. And to celebrate it, we're doing a grand opening event. And instead of doing a one-day event on the EPT like I normally do, we're doing a 2-day event. It's and it's not just a day on the EPT and another day. We're doing the Entrepreneurial Personality Type, which is kind of our framework. We show you who you are, how to move forward. Then the second part of that day, we're going into the contribution equation I just shared, but advanced, like showing you the actual body functions you should look at to understand that you're truly lowering pressure and noise and creating momentum, and understanding how to actually build that in your company as well. And then we talk about creating your movement, because we don't run businesses, we create movements. I've created dozens in my life. The most recent one was corrected the foreclosure crisis in the United States. We trained about 47,000 real estate agents, and they worked with about 4.5 million people. Movements are so much better than marketing. And then the fourth section of that grand opening event is our lenses and our cadence. So we can take that first 3/4 of the event and give you a plan to actually put it into place. So those are going to be special. And here's what's nuts. Anytime I speak for more than a day, it's usually about a $6,000 to $10,000 event. It's a grand opening, $1,000 a ticket. And Katie and I do this purposefully. We like to kind of let whoever shows up, show up and build our base. So that's how we're going to welcome in the new office. We'd love to have anybody show up.
Amazing. And that's in Austin.
It's in Austin, and they're January 11th and 12th and 25th and 26th. And the night before, we're actually taking everyone over for a tour of our home. We've spent about 2 years remodeling a home to the lowest pressure and noise. And I think it's extraordinary. People are really surprised when they see what that looks like.
Wow. I saw the pool on Facebook, and it looks great, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely great.
Yeah, it's wild.
Like, I might have to just keep on getting you on this show, man, because every time I talk, I've got like a page of questions that I want to just keep asking you, mainly listeners for my own self-benefit.
Well, Chris, we've got to get you out here to an event, man.
Yeah, let's do that. So let's do this. I'm gonna do that. We'll do something in person when I come out. I'm doing a Bali event in those first dates, but I think I've got something happening in LA on the second dates. I think the 26th is taken, but
let's take a look at it.
We'll take a look at it. Hey, listeners out there, thanks for checking out today. Alex, before we do say goodbye, is there anything you want to leave the listeners with?
Always. For anyone out there who has ever felt like you're different, or you're a party of one, or you're, alone, I want you to know that, that's okay. Society's systems have conspired against us to convince us we're alone. And at no time were we ever encouraged or even shown how unique and how special we are. And the very fact that you're here listening, you want to contribute, and you feel like you're different, makes you part of the most exclusive club in history. Because when you read the biographies of anyone who did anything significant in history, they were like us. And they felt the same way. So for anyone who's felt that way, regardless of what pressure and noise you have in your life, there is nothing wrong with you, and you are not alone.
Well, that was fucking awesome.
Thanks.
Guys, I love you all so much out there. Have an absolutely amazing day and live with total freedom. Free your mind, free your time, free your life, so you can do what matters most. It's Christopher Duncan, Alex Charfen. Go out there, smash it.
This has been the Total Freedom Podcast. Learn more at ChristopherMDuncan.com. Use the hashtag #TotalFreedomTV, and Chris will answer your questions. What are you doing to create freedom today?